Yo, what's good everybody? So today we're going to be talking about the best budget beast in Madden 22 Ultimate Team. If you're not sure what a budget beast is, it is basically a card that will still help you compete against all the really expensive teams, but for a very smaller price. So the first cards we will talk about are cards you can get for free, completely free just from playing the game. At level 10, you get a free rookie premier, which I will say that you need to take Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase. I think Kyle Pitts is the best rookie premier out of all of them, mainly because, 90 speed at tight end will last a lot longer than, 90 speed at wide receiver. So Kyle Pitts, I think, is definitely your best choice at level 10 for your free rookie premier. And then for your team captain, I would say you need to pick Lance Allworth. Now, obviously, this is all up to you how you want to play the game, but Lance Allworth over Junior Seau will be a big help. As far as like receiving. I don't even know if you've already picked Seau. I don't think there's a way yet for you to exchange him. But they always usually add that in at some point, so you'll be able to exchange him if you don't have him yet. But Lance Allworth, for doing what, week 3 of the campaign. It's really easy to get, and it's like only 20 training to get him to level 89 and put abilities on him. So it's really, really cheap card that's also really good. And then the last 3 are George Kittle, Devin Hester, and Cam Chancellor, which all pretty much require you to level up, which is probably the hardest and grindiest thing to do right now in Madden. You got to play either a lot of challenges, a lot of games, or just spam the same solo over and over and over again to get experience. Really hard to grind up and get those cards, but they're also really good, so they are definitely worth the grind for free. All right, so now we will actually talk about cards that you actually had to spend coins on to get. We're gonna try to save as much coins as we can get. So honestly, I'm not even gonna talk about positions like left tackle. Just go pick some fat guy on the auction block, put him in your lineup, and tell him to block. You'll be fine. No one cares about that position anyway. So we're gonna talk about quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. Tight end we've kind of already discussed. Cornerbacks, safeties, all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and get into it. I would say the first person that I would be looking at getting would definitely be Justin Fields, because he's only an 84 overall, but he is by far the fastest quarterback in the game with 87 speed and 88 throw power. So a big arm, big legs. He's really good. That's who I use right now, actually. That's my starting quarterback on the team. I've switched around between him and Josh Allen, but I think I might actually like him more for the speed. But he is also, if you do the set, you could probably get him for about 40K. If you buy him straight up, he'll probably be about 50K. So he's a little on the expensive side as far as a budget beast is concerned. And speaking of Josh Allen, you can get him for only 35K. He has 89 throw power and 77 speed. Powered up, he also gets set feet elite. So that's also another downfall of Justin Fields. He doesn't get any good abilities. So if you want to rock abilities, you need set feet lead, and Josh Allen is your guy for 35K basically. Him and his power up together I think are probably like 45K. So probably about the same price as Justin Fields, but you also get set feet lead, just a little bit slower, but he also will get 90 speed or 90 throw power powered up. So really good card. And honestly, other than that, there's not like a ton of just good meta quarterbacks right now. If you want to go really cheap, I actually hear that 72 overall Trey Lance with 78 speed and 83 throw power for 1,500 coins, really cheap, is actually not bad as a good quarterback. Fast, can throw. He actually might be kind of glitchy. That's what I hear. I actually haven't tried him, but 1,500 coins. If you want to try him out, I would say go for it. And then next on the budget beast is the 78 Justin Herbert, who has 86 throw power and 75 speed. He's only a gold. He'll be pretty cheap. Probably like 5 to 10K. So very cheap, and also a very good card as well. Can throw the ball, really get it downfield, and that's really what you're looking for. Madden 22, it's impossible to play defense. Put a fast receiver out there on a streak and just chuck it up. So you got to have somebody that can get it down there. Justin Herbert's the guy. So very cheap for him as well. So really that's about it for quarterbacks. If you don't like any of those options, really you can just go try any card. Just make sure they have high throw power and decent speed, and then you should be set. Now for pretty much every other position in the game, I'm looking at speed. Madden 22, speed kills right now. If you gotta have somebody like Tyreek out there, obviously Tyreek's not a budget beast, but we need to get players like Tyreek out there that are cheaper and still let us compete. So that's what we're gonna look at. So we'll start with running back, and then Raheem Mostert, who is still 25K, which is a little expensive. He's an 81 overall, but he does have 88 speed, so super fast. The second fastest running back in the game right now, so very fast for him. And also it helps if they do have a good catching rating, but I'm not really prioritizing that as much as speed really. Carrying also matters too, which brings me to my next player, who is Matt Breida, a 75 overall. You probably get him for about 5K, I would think. So 87 speed, so 1 speed slower than Raheem Mostert, a lot cheaper, but his carrying is only like a 63. And I don't even think his catching's that great either. So 63 carrying, you might fumble a little bit. That's, you have to see. And then for the exact same speed, we have Keen Nwango. I don't even know how to say his name. 69 overall, so you could probably get him for, I don't even know, 1,000 coins probably. 87 speed and then 61 carrying. So obviously not the best carrying either, but I mean 87 speed for, I mean, really just a 1,000 coin card. I mean, it might not hurt to throw him out there and try him. So if we're looking for a little bit more balanced running back, somebody that can catch and still run the ball, we will look at Austin Eckler, who's a 79 overall, only 3,700 coins. He has 85 speed with 69 carrying, but he also has 70 catching. So, I mean, a little bit more balanced. You can do a little bit more of both, but 85 speed, I mean, obviously is a little bit slower, but I mean, if it doesn't matter to you, you like throwing the ball a lot, then that might be the card for you. Same thing kind of goes with Tyreek Cohen, who's only 3,100. Very similar stats for very similar cards. And also, I mean, if you're running a theme team, maybe you're running a Bears team or Chargers team, whatever kind of team you're running, you'll get speed boosts for those as well. So keep that in mind too as you're looking for your cards. So I mean, that's really about it. Obviously, the two best running backs in the game are LaDainian Tomlinson and probably McCaffrey, just because McCaffrey might not be the fastest, but he has really good carrying and really good catching. So he's a really good card overall. LaDainian Tomlinson also the same thing with him, just really good card overall, but they're a little expensive. So I mean, that's really, you know, about it for the running back. And then tight end, there's really, I mean, if you don't take Kyle Pitts as your rookie premier, then you're kind of SOL as far as having a really good tight end right now. But you know, there's still two other options. OJ Howard, who I used for a really long time, who is a very good card. I mean, I think he by far was the leading receiver on my team, like pretty much every game. Dude's a stud, 85 speed. You know, you can get him for about 50K with the team builders. Maybe if you do the set, you could probably get him for a little bit cheaper than that. And then next would be the 78 overall Evan Ingram, who's about 14K. Also 85 speed. I haven't used that card, so I don't even know if he's good or not. His stats aren't nearly as good, so I mean, he might not be worth it. But you know, if it was me, I would be saving my coins to get OJ Howard for sure. And for receivers, there are a ton of good budget beast receivers. I mean, there's really a lot of them that are really cheap. Honestly, way too much for me to even list out here in this video. I'll give you the best ones that I think would be worth the coins. But you know, other than that, really, you can go to mutt.com, mutt.gg. You know, go to receiver, filter by speed, and then pick the cards that you want from there. But you know, I'll definitely list off the best ones here. And plus, you also get two for free. Devin Hester, Lance Allworth, two really good receivers. Devin Hester is probably the best in the game. Once you grind them up, get them to the next level, you can get them to. But we'll talk about the ones that you're going to buy. So the first one is 77 Marquise Brown, 88 speed. So for about a 270,000 coin difference, you can get Marquise Brown, and he's only 1 speed slower than Tyreek Hill. But I mean, obviously the coin difference is going to be within the route running, the catching, all that stuff, which also matters. But you know, we're just looking at speed. You know, obviously if you're getting the best cards in the game, you're not going to be watching a budget beast video. So Marquise Brown, 88 speed, 74 deep route running. And then we also have John Ross, who's a 73 with also 88 speed. So he's going to be a little bit cheaper because Marquise Brown's about 6,000 coins. So John Ross is probably about 3,000 to 4,000. Henry Ruggs, also 88 speed. I mean, I'm just looking at the list here. There's a ton of 88 speed receivers. If you want to be a little bit more expensive, get a slightly better card, you can get Deebo Samuel, who's an 84. He's one of the team builders. So like we said before, he's going to be about 50K. You can probably get him cheaper if you do the set. And then we also have Jalen Waddle, who's 88 speed to 76 overall. And then he's going to be probably about, you know, 3 to 5K. And then, you know, really other than that, I mean, if you want to get like a tall receiver who's also fast, I use Robbie Anderson. He's 87 speed. He's only about 15K. He's an 81. The taller receivers, like I was saying before, they actually help a lot because, I mean, it seems like something with this game, like the animations they get if they're taller than the DB who's covering them. A lot of the times you can ag them and catch it. It doesn't really matter the overall. It's a great game, let me tell you. But yeah, if you want a good tall receiver, Chase Claypool, Robbie Anderson, some of those guys, still fast, still good cards. So that's about it for the receivers. I mean, honestly, there's a ton of receivers you have to pick from. So I mean, really, if you just want to drop some comments down below, it's like, hey, should I get this guy, that guy? You know, I have this team. You know, just let me know, and I'll tell you below if it's a yay or nay. I mean, really, you can't go wrong with any of these guys. Then, like I said before, we're not even going to talk about O-line, fullbacks. I mean, those players don't really matter as much. Just, I mean, seriously, just go find some fat guy, put a jersey on him, and just send him out there to go fight. We're going to talk about corners now. They're probably one of the most important positions out there right now because defense is so hard to play. So, and it's even harder if you don't have great cards out there. So, I mean, obviously you're not gonna be able to get the Darrell Revises, the JC Horns, all the really expensive cards that are probably the best, but you know, we'll find some budget beasts for you. And then if probably the number one budget beast, he's not really a budget beast because he's 50K. He's one of the team builders as well. So you can probably do the sets, get him, but he's 90 speed. He's the fastest corner in the game in stock. So Fabian Moreo, definitely a beast. I have him on my team currently, so he's also really good. But you know, 50K, a little expensive. His name's Javelin, bro. That's an awesome name. You got to have him on your team. 88 speed. He's only a 67. Probably going to be really cheap. Same thing goes with Eric Stokes, who's a 71, also 88 speed. Their coverage stats aren't great, but I mean, we're really just looking for speed here. There's several cards I can name off here. Keon Crossan, Caleb Farley, 87 speed each. Caleb Farley actually has a pretty decent, the best cover stats of all those, and they're 69 and 75 overall respectively. So I mean, they're also going to be really cheap. If you're looking for a little bit, better of a card, you can get Dante Jackson, who's an 80 overall and also an 88 speed. If you power him up, you can get him up to 89 speed. Also has pretty decent cover stats. He's only 15K. He's really, really fast. And then also you can get JC Jackson, who's also an 87 speed. You can get him for free by also grinding the game. I forgot to mention that one at the beginning of the video. I'm an idiot. I totally forgot about him. I have him on my team. Do your gridiron stuff, get him on the team, power him up. He's an 88 speed, powered up with really, really good cover stats. Good card. Forgot to mention him earlier, but yeah, definitely put him on your team for free. And then now we'll look at free safeties. So some of these guys could actually be your user. So I mean, their coverage stats really don't matter because you're going to be usering them. So really we're just looking at speed here. I mean, that's really all we care about. So the first person that's always the budget beast every year is Troy Apke, 65 overall, the GOAT, 3,800 coins for 87 speed. I mean, that's the budget beast of budget beasts. He's always the budget beast. You got to have him on your squad too if you're looking to be a budget beast. He's a really good user. And then if we're looking at anybody else, I would say there's Jeremy Chin. Obviously I'm a Panthers fan, so that's my boy. He's always going to be on the team. He's about 8,000 coins at 79 overall. And then, just kind of going down the list, there's several other cards here. There's Andre Cisco at 70 overall for 1,500, Ashton Davis and George Odom, and then also Justin Reed. So, I mean, several guys there that are about 86 speed that would also be good users. But if it's me, I mean, I'm not dropping down any lower on speed if it's me, because I mean, for very cheap coins you can get faster cards and that don't really matter what their other stats are. So that's all we're really looking at. So, and then obviously at strong safety, a lot of people are subbing in, their safeties at linebacker, whether it be 3-3-5 wide or any nickel set like that. That's probably what they're doing. That's what I do. I don't even use linebackers. But this year I don't even know if linebackers are usable. Because last year they were just not usable at all. So I mean, we'll talk about linebackers too. But if you're somebody that wants to sub in a safety at linebacker and actually make that your user, then one of these strong safeties should be able to do that. Besides obviously Cam Chancellor, who we're gonna have to grind a lot for. But Terrell Edmonds, 80 overall, 86 speed. A really good card. He's only about 12K, but the one guy that a lot of people used for a long time last year is Isaiah Simmons, 76 overall, 86 speed. But he's also, I mean, crazy tall. And yeah, he's 6'4", so to me, I mean, even regardless of abilities, I've noticed that this year, if you have the height advantage, a lot of the times you will come down with the ball. So I mean, if somebody tries to throw the ball in coverage and you're right there, a lot of the times, like the animations, they're just terrible, and you'll just come out with the ball just because you're taller. So you'll kind of dunk on them. Same thing kind of goes with receivers too. Taller receivers will a lot of the times ag. Over compared to like a smaller receiver. So yeah, definitely Isaiah Simmons would be who I'd be looking at for only, 14K. All right, and then moving to the defensive line, we'll start with the left end position. So there's really two cards here that I would be looking at. So we have Montez Sweat and Brian Burns. Montez Sweat, 84 speed. He always has a really good card. He's really tall and really fast. So he's actually the fastest left end in the game currently, if you're not subbing somebody else in there. But I mean, 13K for him with 84 speed. I actually haven't not used him, so I'm not sure if I can vouch for him. But going back to being a Panthers fan, we got 81 Brian Burns, who's 81 speed, so a little bit slower. But dude, no abilities, he gets the most sacks I've ever seen. I mean, he sheds like crazy. I'm not really sure what it is, but for 12.5K for Brian Burns, 81 overall, that's who I'm putting on my team. But that's just me. Him or Montez Sweat should get the job done. Now at D tackle, kind of similar to your offensive line, just go find some fat guy out there who's going to fill the holes and just put him in a jersey and tell him to go fight. And that's really all you got to do. I mean, really, I think if you're putting somebody out there, you want to spend the coins, I would say probably Chris Jones. But that's about it for D tackle. Just, don't even worry about that position. So we're going to go back to right end now. And really, there's only a few options here that, I would put on my field for the amount of coins. So we have Kwity Paye, who has actually two cards that are the fastest in the game. So his 84 is about 50K. It's another one of those team builders, but it's 87 speed at right end. That's super fast. I actually haven't used him, so I don't know how good he is. But for 50K, for an 87 speed right end, I mean, that's almost in-game speed. So, I mean, he might actually be worth trying out. He might not be. But his 72 overall card, which is, going to obviously be a lot cheaper, but it's 81 speed. It's still, it's tied for second fastest in the game currently. So, really good speed on the outside for him. But then, going back to the Panthers, I'm sorry, we just have a great D-line this year. Hassan Reddick, 81 speed. He's only a 78, but you know, I've actually used him, does pretty decently. Not as good as Brian Burns, but he's still a pretty decent card overall. All right, so lastly, we will talk about linebackers. If it was me, and you know, I don't even use linebackers. I just sub in my safeties, like I said before. You can get cheaper safeties that are gonna be way faster as a user than it would be to get, you know, a linebacker. So I mean, really, like the fastest linebackers are all 30, 40, 50K. So I mean, that I don't even want that on my field. Like not for that much. I can easily go get one of those team builder cards that are way better for that amount of coins for a linebacker who really, to me, is not going to do a whole lot. But so we have a couple options here. So we have Robert Spillane, who is a team builder. He's 50K. If you really want him, he's 87 speed, which is pretty good for a middle linebacker. But you know, you're gonna have to spend a little bit more to get him. I personally wouldn't do that. But you know, Miles Jack, who is also, he's an 86. He's a little bit more, but he has 85 speed. So we're already like dropping in speed really fast. But you know, if it was me, I'm looking at Devin Bush. He always has a good budget beast. He's only an 80 overall, 84 speed. So he's probably going to be, I don't know, probably 7 or 8K. And then we have Jerome Baker, who is a 77 gold, who also has 84 speed. And then he is going to be, I don't know, probably 3 to 4 or 5K. That's about where they're going to be at. And then if you really, I mean, you have Patrick Queen, 75 overall, about 4,000 coins. He's at 83 speed, not the best. So, I mean, we're already dropping off in speed really quickly. So, I mean, you know, like I've already said probably 10 times now, just sub in linebackers. I wouldn't even worry about sub in safety is the linebacker. I wouldn't even worry about trying to go spend coins on linebackers right now. And then last but not least, we have kickers. We're definitely looking for some speed in those guys. You know, they really matter the most. Kickers mean a lot too. I'm kidding. Kickers don't mean anything. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you at all. If it did, just drop some comments down below. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, and then we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.